In this tutorial, we're going to go over a new feature for Excel 2010 called Sparklines. This is a really neat type of graphical component that you can add to your spreadsheets that gives instant visual on different data, on financials, anything like that, without having to take up a lot of screen real estate with a full graph. And it's also a way you can do these on a just on a per cell basis instead of having to do the typical graphs you're used to when you use Excel. The very first thing you're going to do is look at our spreadsheet here of Star Wars buddies. We have Darth, Luke, Lando, Han, Chewie, and Leia, and how much revenue they paid on a monthly basis. We have the totals here for each of them, and then we also have the totals per month. So this is a very standard financial chart. A couple things we may want to see are the trends. So at what point is Darth buying the most and that sort of thing. And if we want to see that visually, using Sparklines are a great way to do that. So what we're going to do is come over this column in O, and we're going to give it a little bit more real estate and stretch it out. Click on the cell that we're wanting to start out with first, which is this top one, and then we're going to go into the Insert ribbon. Here in the Insert ribbon, we're going to click on, you see the subcategory Sparklines. We're going to click on Line. Now that pops up a control window, and it is asking for a data range. Clicking on the selection box right here, we can now come and select that entire row. It's going to be B2 to M2. Click OK. And now you can see this neat little graph here on the right hand side. And we can do things like click the fill box, pull it all the way down, and now we see a graph for each one of our customers. There are also some other graphical things we can do, such as putting in markers. Click, you see here on the top, select markers, and each one of our Sparklines now is a marker that's placed by month. So you can see that Luke, for example, right here, had a downward slide for the first 3 months and then started to go up. And this is a nice way of being able to visually see any type of data point as long as it's in a line format. So this is a great tool to use to be able to visually see any type of data and get it to be represented in a line graph. You can also do this coming down. So say, right here we're seeing it for our customers, but if we want to see this on a per month basis, we can also do the same thing by clicking on this row, going to Insert, going to Line, Data Range, and we're going to select Darth through Leia for January. Hit OK, and now you see we have a line graph for that month, and we'll come drag it all the way through December. Now we have a line graph not only for our customers but also now for each month, so we can start to see trends there. And we can either add markers like we did the last time, or we can also have a little bit different look and feel and switch it up with columns. And the columns are another neat way to be able to see this graphically. You can see that there's a third option, which is the win-loss option. You can select this one, but in order to do so, you need to have negative numbers, or else they're all just going to be blue dots. So we can take that, make that negative 750, and you see that dot drops right below as that turns into a negative number. And the same thing happens right there when we change Luke's to negative 90. So the win-loss one is good if you're dealing with negative numbers or you're having some way to compare the data. But those are Sparklines, and I think that they're a great tool that Microsoft put into this latest version of Excel. And there's a lot of different applications that I use it for on a regular basis, and I think you will too.